Within every single one of us, there are approximately 3.16 billion base pairs of DNA. These base pairs don't just contain our genetic information. They hold our deepest biological secrets. Some of these secrets are dark, twisted, and tell a story of humanity's violent past. A story so brutal its echoes can still be felt today. According to recent studies not so long ago, much of the known world was engulfed in violent, bloody conflict. This wasn't just a local skirmish, it was a global conflict spanning across continents, making violence nearly universal and escape impossible. But how do we know this? The answer lies in our very own DNA. Researchers analyzing the genomes of modern populations found evidence of a distinct genetic bottleneck. A genetic bottleneck occurs when a population experiences a drastic drop in numbers, leading to lower genetic diversity. While bottlenecks are somewhat common in nature, the one we're talking about was unique. It happened just a few thousand years ago during the late Neolithic period, and it was devastating. What's even more shocking is that this bottleneck primarily affected men. The Y chromosome passed down from father to son showed a massive drop in diversity, while mitochondrial DNA passed down through females remained relatively unchanged. This suggests that something catastrophic happened to men during this time, something so horrific that by the time it subsided, the effective male population in Africa, Europe, Asia, and the Middle East had been reduced by up to 95%. That means only 1 in 20 men survived this purge. So, what caused this massive die-off? The evidence points to unprecedented violence. Researchers discovered over 250 late Neolithic sites in Europe alone where violent deaths occurred. These weren't just isolated incidents. They were battles and indiscriminate massacres on a scale never seen before. One of the most gruesome examples is the Talheim death pit in Germany, dating back to around 5000 BC. Here, the remains of at least 34 individuals were found brutally slain. None of the skeletons showed defensive injuries, suggesting they were fleeing, not fighting. The killing blows were precise, aimed at the head with weapons like adzes, clubs, and arrows. Yeah, but the violence didn't stop there. The Herxheim site in Germany, dated between 5300 and 4950 BC, is perhaps the most chilling. Archaeologists believe this community was responsible for the deaths of over 1,000 individuals. The victims were dismembered, their skulls cleaved in half, and their bones processed into tools and decorations. Some were even cooked and eaten, with evidence suggesting that the brain was a prized delicacy. This level of brutality wasn't isolated. Across the Neolithic world, violence was rampant. Warriors used a variety of weapons, axes, spears, bows, and arrows, to wage war on a scale that was unprecedented for the time. And with little to no armor, survival was a miracle. The average lifespan during this period was a mere 20 to 33 years. But why was this happening? One leading hypothesis points to the Neolithic Revolution. As humans transitioned from hunter-gatherers to settlers and farmers, populations grew and settlements became more common. But with this progress came new reasons for conflict, competition for resources, land and power. Settlements became targets and violence became a way of life. Another theory suggests that societal structures played a role. As patrilineal clans formed, men became more vulnerable to violence, leading to the drastic drop in Y chromosome diversity. Some researchers even proposed that peaceful processes like lineage fission contributed to the bottleneck. But regardless of the cause, the result was the same: a massive reduction in the male population. Thankfully, humanity has come a long way since then. While violence still exists, the scale and frequency of conflicts have decreased significantly. Our lifespans have more than tripled, and we've built societies based on trade, diplomacy, and cooperation. But the legacy of this ancient bottleneck remains in our DNA, a reminder of a time when survival was a daily battle. So the next time you think about your DNA, remember, it's not just a blueprint for who you are. It's a record of where we've been, the battles we've survived, and the progress we've made. Thanks for watching, and until next time, stay curious.